What's going on YouTube? Welcome to my channel, Money Moves with Kay. I'm Kay, and today we're going to talk about how in the world do you find distressed properties for free, all right? If that's something that you're interested in, please stay tuned for the video. All right, so how I'll break the video down is I'll break it down into 3 parts. These are my top 3 ways of how to find distressed properties for free, okay? I was a wholesaler for many years and I kind of have some tricks under my sleeves. But before we even get into the video, please go ahead and like, share, comment. And if you're new to the channel, below in the comment section, just let me know. Say, I subscribe, all right? And I'll be sure to give you a shout out at the end of my video. It's important that I give a little background of who I am and why I'm such an expert at finding distressed properties. For me, my background is education. I taught for about 7 or 8 years, 5th grade in Washington, D.C. and in North Carolina. But we are a military family. We moved to Germany. Yes, Germany. We moved thousands of miles away to Germany, and I was yearning for something more. So I pretty much just started a real estate company, and I started from Germany. So I guess I tell you that story just to let you know that you can do this from anywhere, right? You can do it virtually or in person, meaning you go out and find these properties yourself. So I want to go ahead and I wanted to give you that story to kind of motivate you and inspire you to know that you can do it as well. If I can do it, you definitely can do it. So number three is driving for dollars. I did this virtually while we were stationed in Germany, but you could do this in person as well. So driving for dollars basically means that you are driving around your neighborhood and you're finding and spotting those properties that look distressed, those properties that, the telltale signs, they're boarded up, or, this is missing, that is missing, and it just looks horrible, right? And those typically are money. Those smell like money. In fact, when I would visit some of these properties when we got back to the States, when I would visit some of these properties, I would just take a big old whiff and just say, smells like money, because it does. Because those are the properties that you're able to get way under market value and flip them or do whatever you wish to do with them. One of the pros for driving for dollars is that you simply see the property and kind of see the condition that it's in yourself, okay? Now, when I was in Germany, when we were stationed in Germany, I actually had someone, we call them boots on the ground. I had someone in the North Carolina area that would go to these properties, take pictures for me, and kind of give me an idea of what I didn't see online, right? So that's very vital to have that set up, have processes in place so that you can successfully do this. Whether you're a cash buyer yourself or a wholesaler or just somebody who is just a leisure investor, there are those as well. But for the most part, I know this video probably is for those who wholesale, those who want to keep these properties themselves, and whether they flipping or holding them, right? Another pro for driving for dollars is that you can actually go and talk to the neighbors in the neighborhood, right? So you can kind of get a sense of the neighborhood and get a sense of, the vibe of the neighborhood. And that lets you know what type of neighborhood it is, as far as, are these working individuals or do they have pride of ownership or not? And driving for dollars allows you to see that. A con to driving for dollars is pretty much that you have to drive for dollars, right? You're wasting gas. I wouldn't say it's a waste if you are actually finding these properties. And to that point, it does take a lot of properties or a lot of driving for you to find these properties, right? They're not just always under your nose. Sometimes they are, but for the most part, you actually have to do a little bit of work. You have to get out in your car and drive and drive and drive. A good number to shoot for is between 20 to 50 or more properties to kind of, that you're driving to see in order to get a true sense of where these distressed properties are. I bet you, or I challenge you to, next time you go to work or you're doing something that you normally do as far as your routine, I would like for you to take another route. Taking another route may allow you or enable you to see some properties or see a way or a passage that you didn't necessarily see. So that's a good tip to try to find these properties. Another good tip with driving for dollars is that go on dead end streets. I would say, out of my personal experience, I would say 1 out of every 4, 1 out of every 3 properties that I find that are distressed are on a dead end street. So make sure you go down these dead end streets. Every time I see that sign, I go directly down the street like, okay, yeah, cha-ching, it's time to get that money. Because typically, for whatever reason, I'm not necessarily sure the science behind it, but for whatever reason, I get lucky finding properties on dead-end streets. So that's a pro tip. My number 2 way to find a distressed property for free is to look at the tax delinquent list, okay? Tax delinquent list is a list that you can typically get from your tax assessors, whatever county you're in, or whatever county you're looking to invest in. You can get that from your tax assessor's office, okay? Now, the pro with tax delinquent list is that you can get some really amazing deals. In fact, I've received a ton of great deals just by rummaging through the tax delinquent list and finding some good deals. And I would then contact the owner directly after I've, sorted the list. Now, that kind of takes me to a con with that, is that you do have to sort through a major list. People who are on a tax delinquent list, right? So they've not paid their taxes 2, 3, sometimes more years. But if it's more years, typically they will go to a tax auction or an auction, and investors can bid that way. But for the most part, that's a true con, is that it's just a ton, thousands and thousands of properties that you have to kind of sift through and kind of see, if it's worth pursuing or not. And a lot of people do hire out and have someone sift that list for them. But for me, I try to keep it in-house. And because I know how to sift through the list, it's just easier for me to do it and save money as well and find a direct deal. All right, so number one is code violations list. So this is a list that's compiled of people who have violations, right? So they violated the code, which it can range from having very, very high grass to trash and waste in your yard to junk cars, right? Animals, it's everything on the code as far as code is concerned. It can kind of range as to what the violation is. So every city or county has a code enforcement division. This division pretty much goes around the city or the county, and they pretty much give out tickets to people who are breaking the code and not keeping their home up to a certain standard of the neighborhood, and you will receive a ticket. That's a fine. So how do you find this list? I personally go through the public records and I ask public records to say, hey, can you give me a list of code violations within my city or county? And they do so. And the cool thing about the code violation list is that you can actually see, because it's public record, you can see every question that everybody's asking, whether they're asking for, a list of 5 homes that were on fire or caught fire within the past, such and such months. You can see all type of questions, prison information. It's a whole lot of information just via public records. So keep that in mind. Code violations list is a great way. It's one of my favorite. I found so many properties on the code violations list. It's crazy. So that's my favorite. Some of the pros to it is that you don't have to drop for dollars. You can virtually sit back at your home and relax and kind of go through a list, which flips over to the con, is that it is a list. It's just as big of a list as the tax delinquent list. So it's going to take some time. And the saying, those with time really don't have much money, and those with money don't have much time, kind of works here, right? So if you're trying to save money, in my case, and trying to, not hire out, then I'm going through the list myself and just trying to find a good deal. So keep those things in mind when you're looking. Those are my top 3 ways of how to find distressed properties for free. That wraps up my video of my top 3 ways of how to find distressed properties for free. I hope that you've gained some value from the video. And again, consider subscribing to the channel, comment below, and share this information with somebody who actually could benefit from it. If you didn't find value in it, share it with somebody who could. And until next time, you guys stay blessed. Peace.